Hi there. I have a channel message for you for your highest good, and I trust that this video found you at the right time. I believe if you're watching this video, there is some really profound healing that is happening with an aspect of your feminine self and your divine feminine. So let me get into the cards that I have already pulled. I feel like you have been working on and discovering new ways to create an internal harmony and feeling like inside of you, your thoughts and your feelings and the way that you personally move through life is becoming more harmonious, or you are working on that currently. And potentially you might be looking around and exploring your relationships with other people and potentially trying to figure out ways to make that more harmonious and the externalization of what you're feeling, because there may be some dissonance when there's other people involved. So as the subject on the bottom of the deck, I pull the Two of Cups here, which puts me in that space of emotions and connecting with other people and trying to create that harmony with other people in your life. And funnily enough, because I am using this Muse tarot deck, and of course because the universe works in such profound and beautiful ways, as an oracle card I do pull the music card, Harmony. So you might really like music, or it's relevant to you. I mean, who doesn't really? But potentially life speaks to you through music, or you really connect with your highest self and you could receive messages through music. But it did get me thinking about dissonance and harmony. And I did want to make a point that sometimes dissonance occurs in music and in life. And using music as an analogy, when dissonance does happen and then it resolves and you move from the dissonance into the next chord, which is the resolution, and it all comes together, that's when you really feel the music. That's how you create beautiful harmony, is moving from dissonance to resolution. And it creates a really profound emotional effect when that happens. And it really highlights what harmony feels like when there's an absence. That's the word, yes. When there's an absence of harmony, and you move from the dissonance to the harmony, that's when you really feel good about the harmony. Because if things were harmonious all the time, you would probably, it wouldn't hit as hard. You'd forget what harmony kind of feels like. But anyway, that Two of Cups and that music harmony card, it really makes me feel like we're working on external dissonance, and what does that mean, and how can we create more harmony in our relationships. And I feel like in your past external situation, I pull the Sun in reverse and the Six of Wands in reverse. So I really feel like there's something about how you've been seen in the past, or like there's just something around being seen how you're received by others and how people see you. And I do want to say it can just be, it really can be a reflection, not always, but how you see yourself will affect how other people see you. And how you see yourself will be reflected at you, back at you through your relationships. And I feel like potentially you have come from a place where you're not sure how you're being seen, or you don't like how you're being seen by other people. Or maybe you just haven't felt seen, or you feel like people don't see you for who you really are, and they don't see the truth of you, or something around that. And I'm getting that in this past place of not, or this issue around being seen, it's creating a real lack of clarity here with the Queen of Swords in reverse. And there's a conflict that's happening in your mind because of this issue around how you're being seen by people. And it just could be confusion or doubt around who you really are or who you really want to be, and how other people are seeing you might be affecting you. But with this Five of Swords card, do notice that there is this olive branch right at the top that is being extended here. And funnily enough, the woman in this card there's like this reflection of her, and it's like she's seeing herself, or not even seeing herself, but it's like she doesn't quite want to look at herself. So she's kind of like half looking at herself, and maybe really starting to look at herself and come to the truth of who she really is. And notice too, at the bottom of this card, there's these women sitting in meditation. They're sitting cross-legged down there. And in your current position of your energy right now, I pulled the Four of Swords. So I feel like you are really exploring these ideas around how you're being seen, how other people see you, and you're kind of resting in that. And with the Four of Swords, I'm getting your processing mentally. And maybe I'm getting you might be trying to meditate, but your thoughts just keep coming back and you can't really escape these thoughts. It might be hard for you to be still currently, but you're working on it. And I'm getting that the thoughts that are surfacing, I feel like somewhat natural, and there's just processing that needs to happen. And potentially you've come from a place of being overstimulated. So your thoughts maybe just need to be working themselves out currently. But in your current situation, I get the Three of Wands. So it's like I was saying, there's this process that's happening in your mind, because I feel like you are seeing the truth of who you are. And going back to what I was saying at the start, there's an inner harmony that's starting to occur. And it's only your external, potentially, that there is this dissonance. So I feel like you are seeing the truth of who you are. And potentially you're letting go of old people's perceptions of you and how they see you. And you're coming to this place of inner knowing that how you see yourself is kind of what matters here, because potentially your relationships, they might know the old you, or they might have their own beliefs that have been creating this dissonance because they're not necessarily in line with your beliefs. But you're holding this vision of yourself and who you are and who you want to be and where you want to go. And this woman is walking through this door. I feel like you see yourself walking through the door and you know that you're making progress in this vision that you have. And notice that on the left-hand side here, the dominoes have been falling where my finger is here. And the last domino of this old life, before you walk through the door, that last domino is about to fall. And the first domino over here, there's a bit of a gap where she is. And then the first domino has started to fall. And this new life is just going to start to fall into place. Because you have the vision and you're taking action towards the vision in your external, and you're creating a new external life for yourself. And potentially just right now, you're just resting in the truth of who you are and processing the truth of who you are. I see this as really healthy growth and healthy introspection here. And it's really positive. But as you really move into the truth of who you are and start to fully embody your highest truth for your highest good, with these relationships, you may feel like you're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place, potentially. Because this truth of who you are and the relationships that you've been experiencing, there's dissonance there and a lack of harmony. And it's like you have to make this hard decision to maintain your identity and your truth and what you know that you are. And it might not be the easiest thing, but keep working through this. And don't be afraid to make the hard choice. And I'm not saying cut people out. I'm just saying know who you are and listen to your heart and ask for help from Source if you're feeling unsure. But just know that this is a really healthy process that you're working through. And the harmony is going to start to reflect externally as you process these thoughts. In your external situation and where we're moving here, I did pull the Ace of Wands. So I feel like, and this is a little, I don't want to say random, but potentially as you move more into the truth of who you are, and you're more comfortable maintaining that new identity, or that identity that has always been you, but potentially in the past you've had trouble with how you're being perceived. But now that that doesn't matter so much to you anymore, and you're resting more in the truth of who you are, I feel like with the Ace of Wands in reverse, there's going to be less of this need to try new things and explore new parts of yourself that you're not sure of. And, okay, am I this thing or am I that thing? Or maybe I should try this or I should try that. Because it's like, I feel like there's potentially been this energy of searching for yourself, which was in you the whole time. But it's like, with the Queen of Swords in your past, it's this confusion around who you are. Because the external messaging or the attention you're getting in the external is creating confusion in your mind. So you're searching potentially for the truth or some kind of inspiration that's going to confirm things for you. But I feel like the more you rest in this and process these thoughts, there won't be this need to search for inspiration and a new thing or a new hobby to align with and identify yourself with. I just feel like the need to explore that stuff is going to go away. And you'll always be growing and learning new things about yourself and exploring. And I'm not saying don't do that, but I just feel more of a solid energy around who you are and just being more comfortable in resting in your truth. So there won't be this need to search for new ways to identify with yourself, because you will know who you are, and you're processing that, and you know who you are. And then I get the devil here at the end with your external situation. And I want to interpret this as maybe loosening up a little bit. And it's like potentially you've come from a place where you felt a bit bound, or like you have to use strategy, or you have to use tactics to relate to people, or you have to think about how you relate to people. Or it's like you have to, there has to be some kind of strategy around how you're perceived. But I really interpret the devil here as like letting go of that and just being able to kind of have fun who you are and as yourself, and just kind of loosen up and explore things. And sometimes you might try things and it won't work out. And that's how you learn. Okay, well, I'm not going to do that again. Or I'm going to exercise more self-control in this area. But you have to experience it to know. You have to try first. And it has to be you trying it. You have to, it's not about doing it in the name of how people see you anymore. It's about your truth and who you are. And you're really going through some profound healing here, and it's with the Two of Swords in your energy and the devil in your external. I'm not saying this is all going to be easy and sunshine and rainbows, but you're at least coming to the truth of who you are. And finally, with the Ace of Swords in reverse at the end here, I do feel like the truth of who you are isn't gonna be this focus anymore, or having to get to the bottom of who you are. I'm seeing like the sword in the stone. Hey, it's like pulling the sword out of the stone. What's that? Who did that? Who pulled the sword out of the stone? It's escaping me right now, but I'm totally getting that. Like, pulling the truth out of the stone and holding the sword and saying, this is who I am. And just being confident in that. I'd actually like some more clarity around that. Around the Ace of Swords in reverse. Because that's what I'm seeing. And it's like no longer a need to search for the truth. Kind of like that Ace of Wands in reverse. That's kind of what I was saying before. Like, and there's not this need to go and look for it or find this new thing. It's just you have it in your hand. And you can experience all of the material things that life has to offer now with the devil. Like, you can feel your senses and your sensuality. Like, your current energy, they're all swords. So I do get now too with the devil, it's like you're coming back into your senses and coming back into your body, because you're not in your head so much. And then you can fully be present in these relationships, like this Two of Cups energy. Okay, amazing. So the Ace of Swords in reverse is clarified by the Queen of Swords, the Three of Wands, and Justice. All right. So you are definitely becoming, and remember, the Three of Wands was in your current external circumstances. So, and now the Three of Wands is clarifying this Ace of Swords in reverse here. So you're going to be so much more sure of this vision that you have for yourself. And I'm getting like a confidence thing. Like, you're going to be sure that these ships are coming in. You're not going to have to go and look for the ships and look for the external validation and try and, oh, are they coming in? You know, like you're just going to know. And you're going to be sitting in your knowing. And I feel like this Queen of Swords in reverse that was in your past, it's going. The confusion is going. I'm totally getting that. There's going to be an ability to hold your vision and hold your identity. And life is going to be a lot less confusing for you because you're really healing your identity and thus how you receive attention. And then maybe when you receive the wrong attention or something that would be perceived as negative or people don't agree with you or they don't understand you, they don't get you, it won't matter anymore. I really feel like potentially you've been struggling with the way that people are looking at you, and it's like you're trying to hold this vision, but the seeds of doubt, they get planted sometimes just in other people's beliefs and these little nagging like, oh, is it going to work? But the vision's going to work. And that card just flew out onto the Three of Wands. I was saying that. Yeah, King of Cups. So, perfect. You are totally going to be confident in leading from that emotional place. You're going to be in touch with your emotions. You're just going to know who you are. And it's going to reflect in your relationships with the Two of Cups here. And it's like you're going to be able to move with the Knight of Swords under that Two of Cups. You're going to be able to move towards relationships that do serve you. And there's going to be so much more clarity. And even the old relationships that you don't think are completely aligned with you, if you choose to maintain those relationships, you're going to be able to heal these people or since your light won't be somewhat dimmed around these people, they have to see the truth of who you are and the authenticity of that. And you're going to be holding that light so strongly that there's going to be no hesitation there. And you're just going to be so strong and sure of yourself. And it's going to be healing for other people. Like that energy, it heals people. And it might create some dissonance for them, but that is a reflection of them and who they are. And maybe they just need to see your light, and then they can come closer to the truth of themselves. Because even if you're not the same and you don't agree, I feel like if you're sure of yourself and you know who you are, you do become more open in a way. It seems a bit contradictory, but I feel like if you're unsure of yourself, I'm getting that you can get quite defensive, because anything that's outside of you that you don't agree with, it creates conflict in your mind, and you start wondering, like, is that right? Am I right? Am I wrong? But if you're sure of yourself and you can rest in that and you know who you are, it's like you have space to look around you. And you can be more open to seeing what things are. And sometimes things won't align with you and it won't be your truth. But you'll have the space and the mental capacity to say, no, that's not me. And I'm okay with me. And I'm okay with that thing because I'm sure of myself. But then things will come along that will show you more things about yourself or maybe where you want to be. And you'll just be more receptive of that. So, Yeah. Keep doing the work, because you're walking through that door, like that Three of Wands card would suggest. You have the vision, and you're starting to really be sure of yourself. So I love that. It's a beautiful message. And I just like some moon cards. And I'm going to ask now, is there anything about the collective and their self that they're not seeing that could help them fully integrate their whole truth? And I don't want to throw you off your game, because it feels like you're really coming into alignment with your identity. But is there anything that we're not seeing that is really going to help us become fully integrated? Are there any blind spots here that you'd be willing to share with us? Okay, nothing is yet set in stone. Mutable moon. It's time to take action. The energy is gaining momentum. Interesting. Nothing will come of this situation on the bottom. So I really get this feeling and this vibe about what I was saying before about the Devil card. And it's like, now that you're moving out of your head with this process, and the thoughts are they're sort of taking care of themselves through meditation and thinking and processing and, okay, getting to the bottom of things, getting to the truth. With this Devil card and moving more into these senses, and like I was talking about, being able to experience the material now, and potentially learning more lessons just through trial and error, and loosening up and not needing to control and just experiencing life. This is total feminine healing I'm getting, because that's your receptivity. That's how you take things in, and you're going to be more open to taking things in and receiving more information. And like I was saying before, now that you're sure of yourself and where you are at currently, and you can rest in that, you'll be more open to taking in new things. Nothing is set in stone, because we're always evolving, and we're always expanding, and we're learning new things. And almost like nothing will come of this situation. It's like, I read this as like, change is always happening. So you're going to do all of this processing and get to the bottom of who you are finally, which is so healthy, because you're not going to need the external to tell you who you are. You know who you are. But who you are is a person on a journey who's changing, who's expanding always, who's fluid. I'm getting there won't be a need to be so rigid. And as you become more comfortable being seen by other people, you're just going to learn so much more, because you're going to be so much more open and receptive. Somebody said something to me the other day, and I was already aware of this, but it was still a very profound conversation. And we were talking about how we need relationships in life. We're tribal people. And so much can be said about just going within and learning and listening to that inner voice and resting in your internal truth. But we need our relationships to reflect back at us, to show us things that we don't necessarily see. And there's always learning happening, like I was saying. And this music card, harmony, and the Two of Cups, and it's all this theme of like healing your receptivity and healing your need to control how you're being seen, because there's these opportunities for learning. And I'm just getting that your boundaries are going to be so much healthier because you're going to know when to set boundaries. And you're going to know when to be open and when to be receptive and when there's an opportunity for learning, and just being okay and less attached to the result and the outcome of it and how you want to be seen. And it's all just, I'm getting there's way more healthy flow since you're becoming more solid in your identity and who you are. There's so much more flow that's going to be happening, because it's like there's this whole new world that's open to you now, because you're not going to be afraid to look. You're not going to be afraid of things contradicting you or making you see things a different way, because you choose what to bring in. And it's so you have free will in all of this. And you have your higher self guiding you. And it's time to take action here. New moon in Aries. It's like, it's this new life is calling you. It wants you to be seen. I'm getting that. It wants you to be seen by people and relate to people and learn from people and show people things and not hide. It doesn't want you to hide. And it wants you to experience life and all of the pleasures that life has, and the senses and the sensuality. And there's really profound feminine healing here. And I'm getting to here because I did ask the question, is there anything that we're not seeing about ourselves that could help us fully integrate? And so I interpret this as, okay, we are learning and changing, and we can rest in that and feel safe in that change. We can feel safe knowing that we're going to learn and expand still. And we can take action and we can be seen. But I'm getting here that the energy is gaining momentum. So it's like potentially this work that you're doing with yourself and this processing that you've been doing, I feel like that card is saying that you're actually making more progress than you realize potentially. Or you think maybe, okay, I'm in the Four of Swords energy, so I am not moving. But that's not true. Like, there's expansion. Look at what's coming out of her eyes. Now that she's taken a pause to process things, look at what is happening. And look at how much more she's seeing, or it's like she's being activated. Her eyes, and I'm totally getting it now. Like the way that you've been seen by other people is so tied into the way you see yourself, and it's like your eyes are being activated. You're seeing clearly. You're seeing yourself clearly, and thus seeing the world clearly. And that's progress. That's expansion. And the energy is gaining momentum. And you might not completely see this progress that you're making yet, but it's going to start to really materialize in your relationships. And you are going to attract new relationships that are more in line with who you are. And your old relationships that you do want to maintain are going to heal. And things are going to really start to look beautiful for you in your external. And you're going to start to experience this external harmony that I feel like potentially you've been seeking here. What more do I want to say about this? What more do I want to say? I want to clarify this Devil card, because I really do feel like it's experiencing the world and like through your senses and through your body. But let's ask, what are you going to start to see now that you're experiencing the world through these senses and you're out of your head? you might see that you've really been controlling things. So beautiful. The Emperor in reverse. I feel like I was saying, you're going to feel way more comfortable relinquishing these levels of control that you've potentially not been consciously aware of, how much you've been controlling things just to protect yourself and controlling the information that comes in. Your feminine, I feel like, has potentially been controlling the way you receive or what you receive, maybe a little too much. But this, you're going to be happy doing this and moving into this space. And you're just going to feel more free to see and to move. And the Tower in reverse, I'm totally getting, you're going to see that you've been preventing Tower moments potentially that needed to happen. Or just, and I'm not saying your whole world has to fall apart for you. I'm not saying that your whole world needs to fall apart for you to learn. That doesn't need to happen. But there's going to be massive internal realizations, since you're just out in the world experiencing things and not controlling. You're just going to have some massive realizations, I'm getting, internal realizations about how beautiful life really is. And this will be you, this kid on the horse. It's going to be so beautiful. You're going to see the beauty in life potentially in a way that you have not seen before. And I'm really proud of you for going through all of this stuff. Your feminine is being healed here. And you're going to experience things that you couldn't even dream of. You couldn't even imagine what's going to come in for you now that you're open to being completely receptive. And Source wants to support you in your highest good and your highest excitement. And as long as you meditate on that and rest in the knowing of that Source wants to give you the best for you, things are going to look so beautiful for you, and it's going to be incredible. I'm going to pull one more Earth Magic Oracle card, and I want to see if this has any advice for us. I pull the Lotus Flower Unfoldment. It's so beautiful. Isn't that so feminine? And even the word unfoldment, it's like the opening up of the flower, like totally like I was saying, like healing your receptivity and being able to take things in, because you've healed your feminine and your ability to have boundaries and knowing when it's appropriate to take control and when sometimes you just need to take it in and be open to being receptive. Lotus Flower Unfoldment. It's so nice. I might read that actually. Might read the blurb on that. Okay, Elemento. Sorry, just trying to remember where L stands in the alphabet. It's been a really profound reading. Thank you so much for sharing this with me and for doing this work. Your spiritual unfoldment is occurring at all times, whether or not you are aware of it. It is inevitable, as long as you put your trust in the hands of the Creator, the one who holds the light. Like the lotus, your soul is always reaching for the light to fulfill its karmic destiny. But even in that process, there are periods of darkness and times to rest. It is a natural cycle, one that cannot truly be coerced or halted. It has an innate rhythm of its own, one that is unique to the being that is you. You do not need to strive or be driven by spiritual ambition. It does no good to try to force growth upon yourself, or others for that matter. Allowing is the key here. Allow the place in you that naturally wants to follow the light to do so, while recognizing that even when you have complete faith, you will face challenges. Your steady faith and love will guide you on your journey of returning to the light. It's so incredibly beautiful and in line with what I was saying. And you are 100% healing this feminine part of yourself in such an incredible way. Thank you. One more card, surprise gratitude card. I'm not sure what this is going to say. Okay, visualize your happy place. That can be quite a masculine attribute, the act of visualization. But then through that, I feel like that may be a key here potentially to really being able to receive what you want and having a healthy way to control instead of trying to rearrange things in the 3D, because then you're delaying tower moments and delaying realizations or not looking at them. But instead it's like, okay, I'm going to receive from the 3D and I'm going to see what life is giving me. But then if I want to go somewhere else, I can visualize where I really want to go. That may be a bit of a healthier exercise, potentially. On the back here it says, allow gratitude to warm your heart as you visualize yourself there. What memories are associated with your happy place? What feelings does this place evoke within you? And what about this place makes you grateful? So with that, I'm going to leave this reading. And again, thank you so much for sharing this space with me and for doing this work. I really appreciate it. I love you, and I will see you in the next one.